Welcome back to the packaging studio. I'm Ramu Ramanathan,
And I am Abhay Avdhani.
and Abhay was on the ground with me at the Lalit. That was yesterday, 16 December, at the Pack.Nxt conference. So, Abhay, what a day! Innumerable delegates from all over the country, 6 panels, and the overarching theme: circularity in packaging.
Yes, it was an intense deep dive, Ramu. The
Hmm.
consensus was clear, although. The path to a circular economy in India is collaborative, which is built on material science and technical adoption. It's not just theory anymore, it's about making sustainability financially viable.
ठीक है ये सब तो ठीक है अभय but instead of using all these heavy duty words like
Hmm.
consensus collaborative technological adoption financially viable, why don't you sort of unleash one of your uh, English ghazals?
Okay. I feel like under pressure, but Ars kiya hai.
Irshad.
Pack next folks, they met at Lalit for a circle economy to which we must commit.
Wow.
Not just talk, it's time to make it real. How our packaging should look and feel. Reduce the film, make the microns thin, put all the recycled stuff in.
Wow.
There's more.
अच्छा, okay, carry on,
Yes.
sorry.
Smart packaging shines and glows where the brand identity goes. Work together, my industry friend, to make the waste cycle end.
Wow.
From old waste to new, it's the rule. Let us keep our planet green and cool.
क्या बात है from old ways to new it is the rule, let us keep our planet green and cool. Wow.
Yes, that's enough of rhyming. Let's
True.
go on with the guftagu. So, where should we begin, Ramu?
Well, for me, one of the interesting moments was, I think, session one. It was Tushar Bandyopadhyay. He's one of the old timers from the
Yes.
industry and extremely interesting gentleman. So he, in addition to some of the technical inputs in terms of giving us an arc of what has been happening in this space over the last few decades,
Yeah.
also offered a gentle historical corrective,
Yeah.
reminding us that in India, circularity isn't new. So that was, I think, a good sort of tone.
Yeah.
And he said that circularity has been in practice since the 1960s, and mainly driven,
Okay.
of course, looking at the kind of sort of socio-economic index that we have,
Yeah.
mainly driven by livelihood and necessity. So. And that traditionally, as a society, as a community, as a people, we have always been compelled to reduce and to extend the use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just that now we are giving it a nomenclature.
True.
Yeah. But the conference also showed us how we are now formalizing the tradition with technology. So, take for example the panel with Subrajit Bhaumik from Sipla.
Oh, right. Cipla Health. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he brought the shop floor reality to the forefront. He talked about the fractional gains, such as simple design interventions like reducing film thickness from 250 microns to 200 microns. These were few of the steps that they had taken. So that's a straight 20% reduction right there in the
Quite
material.
significant, no? In a
Yeah.
way, yeah. So I think one of the things that resonated yesterday at Pack.Nxt was that the balance sheet can't be ignored. I mean, talk about sustainability and what can be done, should be done, will be done is, of course, very, very important.
Of course.
But we can't just be working on recyclable materials at such high costs.
Yes. But true innovation, which I actually loved, was his team's subtle chemical alchemy.
This is who? Suprajit?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
Cipla Health.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Cipla. Okay.
Yeah. So the IV enhanced polymer recycling. So they are taking second use PET where the viscosity is punctured and restoring it to a level fit for primary packaging.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what kind of improvements are we looking at?
Yeah. So that's an intellectual property driving a painstaking 30% improvement. So it's less about grand gestures and more about the chemical
And
stability,
smart
of course.
chemistry, no?
Yeah,
Mainly, yeah. And I think we underestimate chemistry sometimes, I
That's
think.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good point. And so, on the material fronts, also, I think generally speaking, the consensus was quite clear. The messaging was simple: ditch the sustainable jargon and just say made. For 30% recycled
Yeah.
plastics. I mean, both my parents are octogenarians, that's 80 plus.
Hmm.
And all the sort of gobbledygook that's there in the name of packaging on a label, or
Yeah.
it really is makes no sense to them.
Yeah.
I think just a simple 4-line message, as you had very succinctly said, that packaging has to be made easier. So, and because it will speak to the consumer
That's true.
ultimately.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. But the panel was also honest about the massive infrastructure gap.
True.
Yeah. So we need better sorting, better
And this was
composting.
across the day. I mean, almost everybody underscored this.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
this
Everyone
infra
spoke
issue.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we need
Hmm.
better sorting, better collection system, better composting and recycling
Hmm.
at the grassroots levels itself. And this
Hmm.
again comes with a lot of awareness.
Hmm.
So this was advocated for curbside sorting and take up programs. So
Yeah.
some initiatives and
Correct. Correct.
in incentives can be given around
Correct.
those lines.
And everybody uses this word grassroots levels, but I think it's just basically your own respective homes. I mean,
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
some
yeah.
responsibility at a personal level, then the scaling up, etc.,
Of
can begin.
course.
Speaking of smart, since you mentioned that, and that seems to be one of the themes at the conference was smart packaging.
Yeah.
And as an old timer, I still see it as a premium value add,
Hmm.
etc.
Hmm.
And so again, many of the things that they were talking about seem to me like science fiction.
Hmm. Hmm.
Your take?
That's exactly the mindset we need to change, Ramu.
Okay.
Yeah, so the panelists, including Abhishek Arora and Abhijit Das, they defined the
Abhishek from
trajectory.
LT Foods.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. So they defined the trajectory.
Okay.
So it's moving from functional to inclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. So uh, earlier, so some of the segments are also being looked at as a value addition, while some are being incorporated as a competitive step.
Understood.
So say for example these are moving from functional to inclusive,
Okay.
and finally interactive packaging. So this
Mm.
creates a two-way dialogue with the consumer.
Okay.
So to get the current 7% adoption to a desired 45%
Oh,
adoption.
that's significant.
Yeah,
Huge.
so we need a pull. That's what the panelists said. We don't have to push, we need a pull. We need a pull
Mm.
strategy. So the technology must offer clear value, such
Mm.
as safety assurance, anti-counterfeiting, or loyalty points or loyalty
Mm,
bonus.
mm. So, I mean, our traditional way of looking at packaging as merely some ornamentation for a product
Yeah.
is obviously, we have outgrown that this
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Just curious to know, I mean, because I think there were multiple conversations about material. How is this being enabled on the material side?
Yeah, so Abhishek Arora pointed a few incredible innovations.
Okay.
So he spoke about conductor wings to print
Ah,
sensors and
nice.
circuits directly onto the pack. And for sustainability, biodegradable circuits made from cellulose or starch based materials.
Nice.
So they are solving the recyclability issue of embedded electronics.
Nice.
Yeah. The moderator Yashasvi Mishra
Mm-hmm.
also nailed the consumer challenge. So
Mm.
he spotlighted the 5 second rule. So if a QR code takes too long to load, the interaction is lost.
Sorry, what is 5 second rule? 5 second rule, that 5 seconds for a packaging product to make an impact
Yes,
on the shelf
yes,
life.
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
understood.
It
Yeah.
takes 5 seconds to actually go through the entire story
Ah,
that the brand
nice.
wants you to
Bapre.
convey. Yeah. So we need voice enabled QR codes to help overcome the digital literacy gap in rural India.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. And then, of course, the buzzword, because everybody talks about it, and every sort of conference. I think what this is the seventh one that you and I have been,
Yeah.
attending, is AI and the AI angle. So again, how much of it is futuristic? How much of it is realistic? So the cautionary note or tone that seemed to be sort of alluded to yesterday was that any investment in AI or IoT
Yeah.
must be viewed as long term. So that was
True,
again
that's true.
at least a sort of voice of caution.
Hmm.
Otherwise, just general delirium.
Hmm.
And a 5-year commitment, which is
Hmm.
again interesting. And the ROI, because I think at the end of the day, all these companies are looking at their PNL, is measured primarily in efficiency gains and better logistics,
Hmm.
not immediate cost savings.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that long term view, it perfectly bridges to making sustainable affordable this
Oh,
discussion.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the point.
Hmm.
So the examples from FMCG and pharma, they were quite notable.
Yeah, yeah, quite fab. Yeah. So cost reduction through lightweighting, that's old school efficiency, but I think that still works, right?
Yes, yes.
Unless, of course, as I think that the lady who was asking a question from the audience about which uh, packaged bottle which was there in PET, and
Yeah.
that whole disaster with the daughter where she squeezed it open. And anyway,
Yeah.
but I think on a more serious note, eliminating unnecessary components like replacing stiffener poly extrusion with a simple antifungal coating, I think that was an interesting takeaway.
Yes.
I suppose that would be called an intelligent reduction.
That's
And
true.
then pharma, because I mean it's very, very important.
Hmm.
I think those that again resonated with me. The 4 Rs:
Hmm. Hmm.
reduce, use digital leaflets via QR, reuse. That whole example with insulin pins,
Hmm. Hmm.
insulin pens was quite remarkable. And replace that plastic trays with cardboard. That
Y-
was very, very interesting.
Yes.
Very, very
Yes.
interesting.
Definitely. And also the key takeaway there was understanding the total cost of ownership.
Mm,
Yeah. So
the
you must,
TCO.
yeah, TCO. So you must measure the
Mm.
TCO against the original baseline and factor in indirect benefits.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a waiver on the EPR credits for using PCR, post
Okay.
consumer recyclate.
No,
Yeah.
that sounds like one of your rhymes, no? Waiver the EPR for using PCR. Wow, wow, wow.
So that helps offset the higher initial cost of sustainable materials.
Okay. I also the last session where some of the government regulatory people were on the
Yes.
panel, and I think in terms of regulatory readiness, if you can call it that,
Hmm.
that was in a way very dystopian, because I think whatever was built up by the first 5 panels, everything came crashing down on earth in a sense, and I
True.
think two of the, and I won't mention their names, but I think two or three things that sort of emerged. One was the completely anarchic and chaotic and unorganized and fragmented nature of the Indian packaging industry, and
Hmm.
how it can be a huge hurdle.
Hmm.
Multi languages, and the multi instructions,
Yeah.
and then the compliance burden, which was
Hmm.
again, be it the pH of ink and adhesive to the FSSAI's tightening of mandates,
Yeah.
and how quickly this information is sort of really spreading across the ecosystem. So again, very dystopian. And
Ye-
also, I think one of them, I think, in a way, sort of underscored that the responsibility is not the supplier but the users.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. And
Mm.
the discussion reinforces the need for mass scale education.
True,
Yeah,
true.
for
Mm.
that 80 to 85% of unorganized SME segment.
Right. Yeah, because I can understand the challenge, no, of an
Yeah.
owner in an SME is a one man army in a way. वो बैलेंस शीट भी वही करता है, वही सप्लायर से बात करता है, जीएसटी वही भरता है, वही मशीन चलाता है, वही फैक्ट्री को ओवरसी करता है. True, true.
Exactly. Yeah. So compliance must become an asset and
True.
not a hurdle.
Well
So
said, Abhay. Compliance
ensuring
must become an asset, not a
not a hurdle,
hurdle. Yeah, yeah. This
exactly.
should be put up as a slogan, I guess. Yeah. Mm.
So this ensuring that every component of the package meets standards from cradle to consumption.
Sensible,
Yeah.
sensible. This has been quite a learning for me just talking to you, because it's in a way refreshed the last, whatever, 6 hours of conversations.
Yes, yes.
Just quickly, your conclusions, if any. So just जैसे हिंदी में कहते हैं, संक्षेप में अगर आप कुछ कह सकते हैं, any final takeaways from Pack Next?
G Ramusar. So it's the realization that a circular economy requires the entire ecosystem,
Mhm.
say from material science and design to also regulatory compliance and consumer engagement, all these systems to mature together.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's no longer about being sustainable in theory, because we
Yes.
love to do that, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
but about being circular in practice and doing the small things, the little things, the nitty gritties, correct?
Perfectly said. It's a
Mm,
collective journey. Yeah.
makes sense. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you so much. For many more such conversations, please spread the packaging word. See you in the next episode of Industry Insights by What Packaging.
Thank you.